Hi, it's John from Copley Advertising. Today we're going to talk about data. Data. I love data. I used to not love data. Oh no, I was an anti-data guy. I have to admit that. Yep, it's one of those sales guys. I was like, no, just I'll bang on the door, I'll kick it in and go to the owner's table and throw down the contract and put his head in a bucket until he signs it. Yes. The 80s. But now I've seen the light. About 10 years ago, I saw the light. Yep, mobile marketing, actually it was before then, social media, Facebook, all this stuff. And I was like, hey, there's a better way. There's a better way to do this. So, you develop long-term models, short-term models, and you track it. And you use Google Analytics and you use Google AdWords and you track things and you see what works and then you could change it. So anyway, got into data. So then I got into mobile marketing. Okay, mobile marketing is great. You put ads on smartphones, video, banner ads, you send them out, and then you get all this data back. Great. You get all the, how many impressions you sent out, how many click-throughs you got the click-through rate, you got the cost per click, you got the cost per 1,000 in the sense of what you're paying for the impressions, you got win rates, and that's just the top layer. And then underneath that, you have a whole bunch of stuff. But anyway, the point is that there's the front end and the back end of a campaign. So the front end of the campaign is obviously, what the client is looking for, and is very important, is that they have a goal. They either want to promote a concert, they want to hire people, they have a tangible goal they're trying to reach, and we're very, conscious of that. And then make that part of our KPI in order to do that. And we sit down and we come up with a plan, scope of work plan. Before I sign contracts, I always come up with a very detailed scope of work plan. I sit everybody down over the phone, I have a conference call. And then we go over it in detail to make sure everybody's on the same page. Then we sign contracts and go forward. And then the first week, things are messy because I'm testing a lot of stuff. I'm out there and I'm like, geofencing this and I'm geofencing that and I'm doing that. So everything looks pretty chaotic. So when the first week report comes in, people are like what's going on here? So, I'm like, okay, calm down, everybody, it's fine. By the second week, things are humming. I got things dialed in and everybody's happy, a lot of impressions, a lot of leads, But the key is that I give them a very detailed report and I analyze it with them and I sit down with them. And the first week and the second week I sit down with the report, it's a little overwhelming. And, they kind of look at me like I'm crazy. But, what I try to teach people is that the data, the back end of this is as important as the front end, because we're going to learn some very interesting things. And I'll give you an example. So one example is that I had a client in Texas. And we started off with 3 DMAs, 3 cities. So we did Dallas, Houston, and Austin. Geofence the city. We had a very broad demographic. We put some ads in, ran it, and then we're click-through rate. So that's our KPI. Is what's the click-through rate? Houston and Dallas had a good click-through rate. Austin had a horrible click-through rate. Oh my goodness. Bad. Now I have a floor, so if it goes below a 0.2, even after the first week, the chances it's going to die are fairly high. So I went back to the client and I said, Austin is not working. We're losing money. We're spending money there. So what should we do? Well, I said, let's pick another city. And they're like, well, we could do Corpus Christi. We've never done anything in Corpus Christi, but it's always been on our mind. And I'm like, well, this is a good, cheap way to do it because I have a lot of impressions going to Houston. And Dallas is really not cost you $100 a week, $200, $300 a week to try Corpus Christi and see what it goes. We geofence Corpus Christi and bam, great. It was awesome. So we dialed it up, I put more impressions in it, and it went really, really well. So now what did the client learn? The client learned that it's like he could do offline marketing in Corpus Christi, put their toe in now in a much safer environment, because it wasn't like, oh, we're going to spend $10,000, $20,000 in Corpus Christi and not know what's going to happen. Well, you're going to know what's happening. Now it should be okay. Or at least, theoretically. So, and then it had a whole new area to prospect, It's great when you get a whole new city that seems to like your product that you didn't pay attention to before. So, and you'd run a test ad and it did really well. So, yay. So, long-term wise, it was really good. So, on the other hand, too, with Dallas and Houston, I usually like to test some A/B testing and creative. So we compare creatives in the same environment and see how they do. So, it was pretty funny because Houston liked creative A a lot. Dallas hated creative A, just hated it. Dallas liked creative B a lot. Houston hated creative B. With stats and data and everything, I think the dangerous part I see people do is try to interpret it, in a sense of it was probably Tuesday and cloudy, so the creative didn't. No. The data, just look at the data. I don't have to ask the data, the data has told me, not fortune teller time. It's here it is, black and white, it's the data. So I told them, if you do offline marketing, then you want to, make sure you reach those creatives in those cities and don't mix them up, because there seems to be an aversion for the other creative. So, and this campaign, this client was with me for a year. So, we learned so much. To me, it's really exciting, on the back end when you learn so much. We tested things and we tried different ads and different placements. And, what I also do is that when I optimize, I have to need, 100,000 clicks per campaign to optimize certain things. So the first thing I do is I go into app placement, figure out what apps are working and not working, turn them on and off, and then ad placement. And then the other thing is operating systems, which we'll talk about in a different video, but tracking the click-through rate on Android phones and iOS, which is always fascinating. So there's a lot of data. So the front end is great, but please, pay attention to data. And if you're working with a mobile vendor, you don't have to work with me. There's other mobile vendors. They're not as good as I am. But they're there. But if they're not giving you a detailed report every week, and I'm not talking about an Excel spreadsheet with 2 columns, okay? That's not a detailed report. You got X amount of impressions in El Paso. No, it's not what you're paying for. So, then you're getting half your value of your money. John Flynn, Copley Advertising. Go to copleyadvertising.com, jflynn@copleyadvertising.com, or call me. Please, don't be shy. If you have a question, if you talk to somebody else about something and you're involved in a mobile campaign, I'm not going to yell at you or say you're stupid. I want to help you. So 617-595-0138. Any questions, okay, about this stuff? Any questions? You call me, you text me, I'm up late at night. It's fine. I want to get you informed before you spend your money, okay? John Flynn, Copley Advertising.